It's going down like this, motherfucker.
Nigga get mad. Say, motherfucker, what you mean you ain't gonna let me in this funky joint? Much money I done spent in here, nigga. I knew your mama when she was horn.
For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite together among ourselves, among our own kind, clean ourselves up, rid ourselves of the evils that we've become addicted to here in this society, and try and...
Off my dome, 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 off my dome.
This ain't loud enough. This ain't loud. I just left a light in this bitch.
Fuck up. Move the fuck back.
Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man.
Your feet. He looked down, seen his feet. The nigga went berserk, killed the monkey, threw the bat out the window, start kicking that bitch in the air. My eye. Plus, I'm in love with a bitch I can't stand.
You don't understand. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. It's cool enough just being cool, like I am, chilling.
I mean TikTok. I mean TikTok. I mean TikTok. I mean TikTok. I mean TikTok.
You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. I think very deeply. I think very deep.
Dance with me. Dance with me.
Flag cause he wiped up Future's motherfucking ex-hoe.
Remember I made you
Flag cause he wiped up Future's motherfucking ex-hoe.
Damn white boys out there. Most of them is psychopaths and all that. They'll kill your mama's mama and you.
Decent white folk that still don't know they're racist.
What the hell you want here, hunky?
I don't mean to be out of.
What's all that noise? What's all that noise? What's all that noise? What's all that noise? Oh, that's his dad.
Used to snort cocaine, now I beam for the check. Used to snort cocaine, now I beam for the check. Used to snort cocaine, now I beam for the check. Used to snort cocaine, now I beam for the check.
Baby, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I come. I hit the loop juice and pulls up in the baby, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I come.
Do that dance, baby, do that dance, let's work it out.
Nigga.
I just be shopping and shit, you know, drinking and shit, do a little smoking and shit. I'm legendary in this motherfucker. To the east, to the north, to the west, to the south, above, below, and the middle. To the east, to the north, west, to the south, above, below, and the center. Greetings. This is Big Pontiac, and welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am the holder of the infinite sacred ball game that was created by the Hero Twins, and I am that one and only galactic daddy-o welcoming each and every one of you to my galactic patio that reaches from Minnesota to the universe.
It's going down like this, motherfucker.
And here I go, once again, looking very beautiful. Spent a number of hours outside. As you see, you can barely tell I'm wearing gold because I look so gold. But again, this is the Chocolate Mountain Show. Woo, it's way over there. And I have my portable fridge to go with my 20-pound block of ice. And tonight we changed it up. We changed it up just a little bit to one of my favorites, which is a true red ale. This is a Minnesota beer. I've drank this many times. It's Moose Lake Red Axe Irish Ale. Red Axe on the motherfuckers. Ooh, there we go. Moose Lake. And this is made in Moose Lake, Minnesota. It says this beer is balanced with firm malt notes that are accompanied by a gentle roast at 6%, which alcohol. It is a smooth Irish red ale, perfect for any season. So pop them if you got them. And I know you just wish this was you with this Moose Lake Red Axe Ale. But look at that. Amber, as we accept the amber ambrosia from somebody. Shit. And here you go, a red, beautiful ale. And you that you wish you were drinking and that you wish you were me. And we are still smoking good wax. You know, this is the June boy. My birthday is from the 1st. It doesn't end until the 5th. We's on that stuff right there, boy. That there stuff right there. See if I can get it out the glare. That is crumble. And we getting it on with the crumble. So we have to activate the Luca, Unicorn Luca hookah. We go, we activate it. Oh, it's really smelling good in here. Oh my goodness, it smells so good. I got a candle going. Because this shit right here had a whole house smelling like weed, no doubt. So, and you know, they got all of us worried about the men in the yellow submarine. We all live in the yellow submarine. Yellow submarine. Yellow submarine. We all live in the yellow submarine. Yellow submarine. Yellow submarine. As I go across the sea in my yellow submarine, I see a mermaid. She sees me. She gets inside my submarine. We all live in the yellow submarine. Oh, let me break it. I was about to get Beatles on y'all asses. So I don't know what everybody's mad at. They got in that yellow submarine and, you know, something went wrong. You notice there was no niggas in that mug. We too smart for that shit. You know, like to be in Richard Pryor aspect, be like, did the motherfucking ship sink? Is it still down there? Don't y'all got pictures and models of that shit? What I need to go down there for? There's no reason for me to go down there. That is how we melanated people look at it. You know, there's no melanated people. To spend $250,000 to go sit and be dark and shit and see a shipwreck 12,000 leagues under the ocean. No, thank you, Europeans. We'll pass on that kind of shit. This is some pretty Willie Dynamite shit. So, who are the party people? Who's the party people? Oh, smoke them if you want them. I'm sorry. Who are the party people with me tonight? PJ Allen, my main man from Japan. My main man who is always on top of his game and on top of his...
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
And because he's here, I know he has to have...
Got to have vision.
Jamar 3224, thank you for coming. And I know to be here, you've got to definitely have...
Got to have vision.
Anthony G, what's happening? And I know you're here. You definitely got to have
vision.
And so this is what's funny. Now think about it like this. Think if I would have put together some shit and I told these Europeans, hey, Europeans, I got some shit and I'm going to go look at some shit and I'm going to text you. And if I get in trouble, you know, I'm going to text you double. Or you know, if I stop texting you every hour, because again, they're so low that there's no communications other than text, if that's believable. Because in the old Nazi wolf packs, again, you know, the submarine could come to, you know, the antennas would come up. That's the two things that would give them away. They would see the antenna and then they would see the periscope. You know, the periscope would come up and shit. But 12,000 leagues under the ocean, there's no communication. So, you know, it's some hit or miss shit. And that's some like, what kind of bored motherfucker do you gotta be to want to go 12,000 leagues under the sea to see a wreck? Like the footage wasn't good enough. Like he couldn't just watch the footage and shit, and the footage wasn't good enough. Like, okay, that's a wreck. That ship that they crashed that ship for insurance. We know they crashed it for insurance because the real ship was the Lusitanic. That's the ships that's sitting down there. The Titanic later got sunk pre World War One. Lusitanic. So we know that the ship was nothing but a insurance scam. And to kill, insurance scam that was aimed, because J. Paul Getty, remember, he didn't take the trip. It was his ship. He's like, hey, you know what? I can't go for some reason. But all those people, the Astors, and I forget the other name, that was against the feds printing our money, Woodrow Wilson, printing our money, having our money over to them, paying a foreign entity that we really don't have to pay. So do I feel sorry? Because think about it. I cut myself off. It was me, and I got some niggas in a submarine and shit, and we was down there like, I guess we couldn't smoke blunts, but we could do edibles in the submarine, and we like quit communicating. Man, they wouldn't be thinking about us. They wouldn't be thinking about 5 niggas in a submarine and shit. They'd be wondering, how did these niggas even get the submarine? Like, we didn't tell the niggas they could have a submarine, so why is the niggas down there? You know, the families be like, hey, our loved ones is in the submarine, and, they in the yellow submarine, we ain't hearing from them, and what's up, government? Man, they would do a rowboat. They would put a rowboat out there to see if we surface. Be like, well, the nigga didn't come up, so we guess they still down there. That's all the federal money they would put is a rowboat. But see, they say it's a billionaire. They got 3 or 4 countries looking for that shit. But we don't care about that, do we? Not really. Not really. The guy who was controlling the sub was a bootleg PlayStation controller. That's what it looked like. It definitely looked like that. It looked like that. It looked like it was almost not a believable story because you see the thing, and the thing is barely bigger than an SUV. It's barely bigger than an SUV. So it's not believable. It's not believable. And you know what most niggas would say is like the why. Like, why are you motherfuckers going in that shit? That's the why. Like, that's how we look at it. It's the why. We looking at y'all like nothing that's trash or wreck is, if you ain't getting no money from it, is really worth looking at. I wanted to give y'all a little more dirt on, let's see. All right, we've been following this story the last few days. Oh, it might be this one. Here we go. This is the same story. It just tells you, how everybody tries to cover their ass when they do this shit. But this is what's interesting about this story. Now, remember, the story of this guy who just killed these 5 women is, he hits these 5 women, but he's done a history of doing this before, and this is some of the after effects. If I didn't show this
South Minneapolis took 5 young women from our community. 5 families had to say goodbye to their daughters, their sisters. These early days have been filled with grief, and they are also filled with questions. Questions about how the man who hit the women in the crash that killed them was even able to be driving a car in the first place. Derek Thompson is that man. He's in jail, and the Hennepin County Attorney's Office says charges will probably come tomorrow. And so tonight we want to focus on the questions that Lou Raguse got answers to today.
Jana, in 2020, Derek Thompson was convicted in California of a charge.
Okay, but look how he started off. Who is he trying to communicate with? Who's he trying to communicate? But see, this is how he looks now. This is what he looks like now. They've been showing younger pictures of him, but they're about to throw the book. He gonna get hit with what is felonious? 5 felonious deaths.
20, Derek Thompson was convicted in California of a charge that revokes his driving privileges there and theoretically here. Despite that, earlier this month, just 9 days before the fatal crash, Minnesota issued Thompson a new driver's license. Besides the question of what charge he could face for his alleged role in the Friday night crash in Minneapolis that killed 5 young women, several other questions have arisen regarding Derek John Thompson, including how he has a valid Minnesota driver's license after a 2020 conviction in California for a hit and run that permanently disabled a woman.
In every case, you are hoping for rehabilitation. In every case, you are hoping somebody changes.
John Sabernock is the Santa Barbara County District Attorney. He says they didn't offer Thompson a plea bargain, so Thompson pleaded guilty to the most serious charge.
Would his California case affect his ability to get a driver's license in any way?
A conviction for that offense results in a mandatory revocation of your driving privilege in the state of California.
Department of Public Safety officials confirmed Thompson applied for a new driver's license in March, but national databases showed his privileges were invalid in another state. DPS says on June 7th, 9 days before the deadly crash on Lake Street, Minnesota issued Thompson a new driver's license when the same database showed his privileges were valid in all states. DPS does not explain how that happened.
It almost sounds like he had a valid license in Minnesota because of a loophole.
I can't necessarily comment on that. All I can say is California, again, by operation of law, revoked his privilege to operate a motor vehicle.
Besides the issue of his license is the question of how Thompson was already free after being sentenced to 8 years in prison in California in February 2020. The California Department of Corrections confirms he was released in January 2023 after serving just 3 years. They note that he received 577 days of credit for time spent in the county jail first. Sabernock shares another way Thompson's sentence was shortened.
And we have been informed he also attended Fire Camp, which is a program run by the California Department of Corrections where inmates are allowed to receive training in the fighting of wildfires and actually will be dispatched to wildfires. And it is very common for the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation to bring crews to the wildfires.
Sabernock doesn't know if Thompson actually did fight any California wildfires, but confirms it is one of several factors that led to his freedom. The district attorney sympathizes with the victims' families.
An incident this horrible, it devastates a community.
Now, the driver's license issue is very relevant because Thompson was driving a rental car Friday night. According to a search warrant, he is the one who rented the car, and you need a valid driver's license in order to do that. The question remains, what happened between March and June that caused the database to show he has no flags preventing him from getting a license? Jana.
And I know they didn't get into that in the statement they gave you, Lou, but is that going to be something that our Department of Public Safety could answer, or is that a national database that someone else has to answer to?
I have the question posed to the California Department of Motor Vehicles, who theoretically should be able to answer the question. I haven't heard back from them yet.
Damn. Yeah, everybody's trying to cover their asses on that one. Cover their asses on that one. That ain't, yeah, I'm gonna tell you what else been happening up here in the Great White North.
Dramatic new details about the high-speed.
Okay, not that. It's some other shit. I don't know if they have it. I don't think they have it. I gotta look at the other. No, they didn't cover it. Okay. They covered it. I know they covered it. Here we go again, guys. I think this is let's see the first they talk about this. It's right here. Here we go again. I talked about this a couple weeks ago, and here we go again. And you know what's causing this thing? Like again, what can cause this? We just talked about this maybe a week or two ago, but here we go again. Whoops. Okay, there we go.
All that's left of a home in Coon Rapids after a massive explosion today that sent one person to the hospital fighting for their life. Neighbors say the blast was so powerful they felt their homes shake. Jennifer Hoff is live near the scene tonight with the latest. Jennifer?
Julie, that shaking was so strong, some people reported feeling it several miles away. And tonight, some of the equipment that is still on scene is so loud and large that we had to stay back about a block and a half from the actual scene of the explosion. All of the blinking lights that you see behind me, the power company crews that are still on scene tonight. The fire chief earlier calling this entire thing just unusual.
I'm in the area. We do have smoke.
On what was a quiet afternoon.
I've seen the smoke and I've seen people running.
On a usually quiet street.
2 other houses are affected.
Neighbors say in seconds,
Yep.
everything changed.
It's a big fire.
A fire following an explosion so big it destroyed the house next to Michael Wright.
It's no understatement to say it was a shock.
The last of the neighborhood's original owners, who says his home is now likely totaled too.
A big boom and the west wall was gone. That was it.
Yeah, this is unusual.
The longtime fire chief relying on 36 firefighters from 4 agencies to also battle 90-degree weather and bad air quality.
We rehab all the time for our firefighters' health and safety.
While investigators work to figure out a cause.
You start the gas company here.
Is it natural gas? Is it propane? Is it gasoline? There's a variety of things that'll cause stuff like this.
The house in ruins had long been condemned, according to Wright, the owner, a man who somehow escaped.
His face is bad, bloody, completely burned. And luckily, he was able to crawl out somehow.
A long road now to recovery.
You know, most of it's just things, so.
And picking up pieces along the way.
That's right. If I got to rebuild it, I'll do it better the second time.
The Anoka County Fire Investigative Team, as well as the State Fire Marshal's Office to try to figure out what caused this explosion. Back to you.
Recording.
And that is a crappy dam if ever there was one. And let me see if there's any follow-up on this. And here we go for, I mean, it's just like all the time. Here we go, another story for y'all.
Latest victim of gun violence in St. Paul. Police say that she was shot several times while at the playground in her neighborhood. Reg Chapman just got an update from police. He joins us right now. And Reg, thankfully, I'm hearing that she should survive.
That's right, Amelia. That little girl is in stable condition tonight. She was shot 3 times, a grazed wound to the neck, a gunshot wound to the cheek. She was also shot in the back. Police do say she should survive her injuries, and they are searching high and low for the person responsible.
It was a little after 10 Tuesday night when St. Paul police were called to the 800 block of Bradley Street on reports of a shooting.
When officers arrived, they found an 8-year-old female victim suffering from multiple gunshot wounds.
Investigators say she and 2 other children were on the playground outside these townhomes in the Payne-Phelan neighborhood when gunfire erupted. The other children were not injured.
Our investigators are doing the hard work of trying to determine who's responsible for this crime and the circumstances that led to it.
Investigators search the area for clues. They are looking for video or witnesses to help shed light on who would use the cover of darkness to shoot at an occupied townhome and hit an innocent child.
We want 8-year-old girls to be able to go play on a playground without fear of being injured by gun violence.
St. Paul police are doing lots of work around gun violence.
They did say it was 10 o'clock at night, didn't they? So why is a 7-year-old girl on playground equipment at 10 o'clock at night? She shouldn't be. But let's let them tell it. Okay, let's go.
And how to reduce the number of gunshots and victims in the capital city.
Gunshot victims this year are down 28%, and our shots fired are down 40%. But I can tell you that those numbers don't mean anything at this point because we have an 8-year-old girl in the hospital.
In order to interrupt this cycle of violence, police say they desperately need help from community.
Before gun violence occurs, we want to work with our community. We want people to call us if they know somebody who's carrying a gun illegally in our city. We need to get people off of our streets that are pulling the trigger in our communities and injuring people.
Now, police have no suspects in custody or even a motive in the shooting. If you have any information, St. Paul.
Damn. Damn, y'all. Yeah, it seems to be a never-ending thing. Oh, here we go. Chris Mathis, what's happening? And to be here, I know you got to have vision. Dr. Sinister. And I know that you got to have vision. And Bishop Mac Bone. And I know you're controlling my bitches.
You saying you can't control your bitches?
What? I know you control yours, and I know you got to have vision. That's what's happening. Shadow of Tomorrow, what's happening? And to be here, I know you have to have vision. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, it's a tough world. It's a tough world.
Big story out of West.
What is this? West Virginia State best women claim camera inside the locker room. Okay, we can rock with this. Check this out. This is some more shenanigans. All right. Mugs.
And a potential new lawsuit against the West Virginia State Police is now bringing the total of 67 members, 18 new women joining the lawsuit. Of course, the allegations against the state police that an employee hid a video camera in the women's locker room at the state police facility there. We're going to be joined now by attorney out of Pittsburgh, Jason Matzos. Thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. This is a very big deal. Can you give us a little bit of breakdown on what we know so far, what's kind of entailing in this lawsuit, and why this is such a big deal?
Andy, thank you for having me.
That chair looks very familiar. Look at my chair. And look at his. These are power chairs. These are all leather. Look at all that wood. Man, this is about a $2,000 chair. Look at all that wood and all that leather. And then again, look at mine. Look at the bolts. Look at that the tack work. See, these are power chairs. I'm not a gamer. I'm a pimp, you know? All right, let's go.
As you appreciate, this is an evolving story, and many of the details remain unknown. However, allegations that have been made are very serious and very shocking and disturbing. Women were allegedly subjected to derelict and deplorable conduct, such as sexual assault, physical assault. Women and underage teenage girls were videoed by hidden cameras in the police academy training facility, and there was a cover-up that allowed the predators and abusers to continue exploiting these individuals. And per Governor Justice, at least one police officer was involved in the destruction of evidence, the thumb drive on which the video from the police academy training facility was stored. So these are certainly very, very serious allegations. They lead to a variety of different types of causes of action, both common law causes of action and statutory causes of action. And for example, depending upon whether or not the video of the teenage girls, any images from that video or the video itself was shared by the individual that made it with other people, and whether those other people shared it with others, you may get into child pornography charges, both state and federal, which obviously, as you appreciate, very serious crimes that entail very serious penalties, as they should.
Yeah.
So this is a very, very serious situation, and certainly an ugly chapter in the West Virginia State Police history.
Yeah.
And that's just based on what we know now.
Correct, yeah, and like you said, a very developing situation, very fluid situation, but it also stems from an investigation, like you mentioned, the governor there of West Virginia kind of moving forward with the investigation of this. I want to put up just a graphic here on Live Now from Fox, as like you mentioned, 5 of the women claim were minors. They attended the junior trooper camp. Of course, the taping, the females, did not end until 2020. Of course, they're also a superintendent. They're resigning from this. There's an investigation within the state police department. Maybe how much do those overlap? The investigation made there by Jim Justice, the governor, but also this lawsuit that's taking place as soon.
Hopefully the lawyers as well as the victims involved in any civil lawsuits will be greatly aided by the investigation conducted and instigated by Governor Justice when he became aware of these serious allegations. Oftentimes, you operate on parallel tracks, Andy. You have various state agencies and maybe federal agencies performing investigations, and then you, as the lawyer representing the victims in the civil cases, are simultaneously performing your own.
Somebody gave him some blush. Somebody gave this nigga some blush. Come on, but let's go.
Investigation. But there is significant overlap involved in the two investigations. One ultimately deals with more criminally culpable conduct, whereas the other just deals with the civil consequences of the behavior.
And I think a big part of this also, we heard from the governor there in West Virginia, Jim Justice, talking about that. He's saying, quote, we don't need to turn our back on the whole because the bad actors are the few. Certainly this might hurt the trust factor for West Virginia and the state police department. How much maybe is that a factor, just the reputation of the state police on as a whole for the public?
Well, it's very significant. And I think, as you mentioned, and as Governor Justice alluded to, it's important to recognize all the dedicated and committed police officers in West Virginia who are no doubt as repulsed by these allegations as the rest of us. You know, it's sad that their good reputations and the good work they do day in, day out may be tarnished by some bad actors. In my experience, Andy, the good officers want.
Okay, so some weirdo motherfuckers in West Virginia. Wow. Weirdo motherfuckers. Don't care about him. Was one more. Oh yeah. This is
recordings just got better.
If y'all didn't know, this number ain't really giving it justice to what's about to happen here. See, y'all want to say this is a drive-by city? People forget this weekend we have Taylor Swift for the 23rd and the 24th, and we have Pride weekend. We have the second biggest Pride parade in the country. Now, I'm not bragging on that shit, but what I'm saying is the city of Minneapolis is about to see between this is going to tell you one thing, but the other reports is over 1 million people extra. Now we're the 16th biggest city in America, 15th, I think, 15th biggest city in America. And we have 3.5 million people. Downtown Minneapolis has 70,000 people. It's going to turn into over 1 million people this weekend because we have Pride and Taylor Swift has sold out 2 shows at the Target Center. So this is what's happening. And again, they're looking good. Amelia, you know, this is kind of a sweater, but summer sweater, I guess, kind of matches with this ugly goddamn tie. This is definitely, it's from Macy's, though. This don't look like Brook Brothers. Don't look like that. But I'll let them tell it. Let them tell it. Whoops.
19 pandemic.
Between Pride festivities and 2 Taylor Swift concerts, the city is expecting more than 500,000 visitors. WCCO's Adam Duxter shows us how everyone is getting ready.
It's no secret, downtown Minneapolis is gearing up for something big.
I think
I think this weekend will be fun. I think it'll be a good one in the books. So.
Some who live and work here, excited.
I like the hustle and bustle of the inner city, so.
Others,
why bother?
already making plans to work from home and avoid the crowds. But for city,
I guess if I went around dressed like this, I wouldn't want to go anywhere either. I mean, how did you see this ugly ass shirt and thought it looked good? But look at these beat up, man, are these moccasins with shoestrings? I don't get some dude's fashion. How did you put this together and what are those? But you really thought this shirt looked good. You went in the store and said, hey, that blue shirt there, look, that's me. Well, I got that in the medium. I don't get it, y'all. It ain't hard to be fly in this state. It ain't hard.
for city leaders,
I think this is just a great opportunity for this city to really be able to showcase our great city here.
it's a chance to usher in a new era, playing host to 500,000. They've extended hours for public transit, fully staffed public safety crews, and expanded hours for 311, all while preparing a pun or two along the way.
The city is prepared. Our visitors and guests are ready for it. And I know this weekend will prove to be anything but a cruel summer.
But the real benefit,
We knew that, with the concert being nearby, that we were automatically going to have some people around.
business, millions in economic influx, Inbound Brewco taking full advantage with a photo booth, friendship bracelet making, and even a shimmering beer if you ask for it nice. All a nod to Taylor Swift and her fans. In a busy Minneapolis,
It will be very crazy, and it will be a good chaos, but it will be crazy, so do.
Taylor Swift sold out U.S. Bank. She's going to be at U.S. Bank. Please forgive me. And it seats 77,000. She sold this out. 77,000. She sold out 2 days. Damn. Taylor Swift's a motherfucker.
Plan way ahead.
Adam Duxter, WCCO News.
Mayor Jacob Fry declared the city will be called Swiftieapolis on Friday. City leaders say if you are coming downtown this weekend, have a plan and come early. From parking to getting around, we have put together a great guide of everything you need to know for a journey downtown.
So don't go downtown unless you're going to see Taylor Swift. Or if you live south, go to the Mall of America, catch the train in town. It takes you right to U.S. Bank. So, yeah, that's coming. That's coming. Oh, it's a couple other stories I had about, but I can't find it right now. Oh, my fellow moderators, Chad, blessings of the Black Jaguar. It's going to be, what did it say? I saw Miss. In the TV show The Sentinel, the Black Jaguar was known as the totem of the Sentinels. When the soldiers fight for survival, Chapman and all those 5 seasons meet a Black Jaguar in Peru. The Black Jaguar teaches priests, warriors, and sentinels I am as well as experience my Black Jaguar transformation. And April 21st, late at night. There are a lot of wild and very dysfunctional crime going on. Yes. Let me know when you and Sly are coming to Dallas. I'll show you very good touring, partying, lounging. I don't do much. I don't party. I party with myself. The age of the transgender, rebred, automatic, artificial man. Yeah. I kind of agree with you that that's what they're trying to do. I was just watching some shit earlier that was kind of pointing a lot of that out.
A big story out of West Virginia.
And you can be what you want to be. Oh, but let's give the energy out. He started it, so let's give it out. We give the Talalak energy out, and I don't care what any of you fools say. The helmet represents the hero twins. That's why they put the helmet on one of the gods, because the god is representing the other gods. So this is the shock energy, but that's what the helmet of the omen, the big head kabazas. And then we give you the actual conscience of the transformation. This is the transformation of this is the panther consciousness. That is that look. That is the panther consciousness right there. This is a direct relic. I don't know how old the relic is, but this is the style of it. And it's not really pushed out there, but this is the style of the transformation. So I want to give that out there. Don't you know that it's true? As for me and for you, the world. Oh yeah, this is. Yeah, I want to get this. I heard about this. I want to show it to y'all. It's like, what's going on in the world with all these explosions? Yes. I caught this right before I was messing around coming on. Let's go. Let's tell us about it. What's going on with Europeans in Europe?
Stunning, incredible videos of this explosion that happened on the left bank there in the City of Lights. Take a look at this. Okay, so this is what we know. A strong explosion rocked the building in Paris's left bank today, injuring at least 24 people, igniting a fire that sent smoke soaring over the French capital's monuments and prompting an evacuation of other properties. That's according to authorities. Police were investigating suspicions that a gas leak caused the blast. The facade of the building in the 5th arrondissement collapsed. Emergency services were searching for 2 people who might be trapped inside. The explosion happened near the historic Val-de-Grâce Military Hospital in one of the most upscale neighborhoods of the French capital. So look, you can see there the smoke and the fire from this explosion. Some 270 firefighters were involved in putting out the flames, and 70 emergency vehicles were sent to the scene. The fire was contained by Wednesday night, but not yet extinguished, as Paris bars and restaurants celebrated the summer solstice with a citywide annual music festival. A strong explosion there.
Damn.
A consumer alert now about a crime.
Consumer alert about what? They might be talking some shit we want to watch. But it's sent to after event fraud. How to protect yourself. 10 days ago. So yeah, y'all, something blew up in Paris, and they're not quite why the shit blew up. So, damn. Yeah, I don't even know if I want to recash that. That was very sad. Here's another angle, I think, of this explosion in Paris. Let's see if this is any different.
And the fire that followed on. It is a gas explosion, but more details coming in all the time. Initially, city officials were talking about the fires, and we've been seeing the pictures, and apologies that these pictures just flying around, but these are live pictures coming from central Paris, and that whole area is cordoned off. I was watching these pictures in the last little while, and they are still dealing with buildings that are on fire right there in the centre of the city. And let me tell you the latest that we're hearing from the mayor of that 5th district in central Paris, because Florence Berthoud has just been speaking, and she has said that 4 people are in a critical condition after this explosion occurred in their 5th district there in Paris. And you can see from the number of ambulances, emergency vehicles, fire crews, that is a massive operation that is still ongoing. There have been eyewitnesses who've been talking. They said it was like hearing a little earthquake at the moment the explosion happened. We've also had accounts of the whole front areas of buildings collapsing there onto the streets. You see the hoses still being trained onto those buildings. So that operation is really still ongoing. That first really broke that news only about, half an hour ago. So they are still in the early stages of dealing with all of this. And you can see the police very much there in large numbers. They were saying in one of their Twitter feeds earlier, asking the public just to stay away from this whole area whilst they'll deal with the situation. So those are some of the latest pictures coming into us. That fire still looks like they are dealing with it, but more details emerging too of the number of casualties. Let me just repeat that. 4 people in a critical condition in hospital after that explosion. We don't know about others who've been injured, but those emergency services still there on the scene dealing with this. So those some of the live pictures, and we will keep an eye on that when there is.
Well, we're going to keep eye on that, y'all. Blowing some shit up on Parlez-vous Français. Blowing some shit up. Nico, what is happening? And for being here, I know you've got to have vision. Yeah, I talked about the submarine. Another distraction, something they're carrying off for the right. You feel that it's a distraction? Very well could be. Very well could be. It's, again, that's what they want us. I mean, any distraction from Biden running for president again, and the way these bleeding hearts, because, liberalism is bleeding heartism. That's what liberalism, it's basically bleeding heart. You got a bleeding heart, and these people are going to, they really look at these achievements by this cat, like this has been a lot of achievement. The cat has done blunder after blunder after blunder. And there's no credit for this government. This government has not been very active, so there's been no achievement by this government or this administration. Now, I'm not thinking that Uncle Imbecile is the answer, because he's not the total answer. He's not the total answer, but anybody's a better answer, even if they want to put the Kennedy guy in. Put one of the Kennedys in. We know he ain't going to be in very long if you put a Kennedy in. Put a Kennedy in, and then, have a good, strong vice president, because you'll probably do a reacted what you did before. But really, people really think that in the voting context, that more people would really vote for Biden? You really think last time that people just like, well, we hate Trump so much? Seems very unlikely that it happened like that. They're still trying to put niggas in jail that went up to the Capitol to protest. And I called for that. And I'll say this. I called for every American to go to D.C. Every American to go to D.C. Because the original, when the Pullman dude, A. Philip Randolph, his idea to go to D.C. was to shut the government down. Put so many people in D.C. that the government couldn't function, so the government would have to deal with the people. And, if any of you read the FBI informant, Agent Haley's book that he wrote by Malcolm X, who was another agent as well. He worked for the government. He was getting them non-tax dollars through the Nation of Islam, so he was an agent too. But his book talks about that. So yeah, we get a lot of distractions. And that's probably what they want to do, is distract you until it's time to go to the voting booth. Hide Joe as often as they can. They're dropping Camila. It does not seem like she's going to be on the ticket. She's an embarrassment. I mean, everybody, if it's one person, I know they may say that Kim Kardashian is probably the most famous hoe, but I would say Kamala is probably number 2. She's probably the second famous hoe right now, is Kamala, because everyone knows she was a jump off. Willie Brown and others jump off. So, you know, it was like, it's no surprise that this woman's not popular and this woman can't do the job, it appears. Or at least they don't show her favorably doing a positive job. Because if she had did such a positive job, she would have sprung away from Joe and said, hey, I'm running. And this was a presidency where the vice president could have really stepped up. But instead, you know, they have her being ineffective, blunders, and not a very good public speaker. I mean, it's funny, when she was putting them niggas in prison, she didn't have any jokes to when she was putting them niggas in prison, did she? And now she's, you know, she's a cackler, nervous laugh. So you can't take her seriously. And they show her looking stupider and stupider. And it was interesting how quickly it turned from how proud sisters were, especially. And it turned very quickly. Everybody wants to wear Chuck Taylors. Everybody wants to wear pearls. And within a matter of months, they had embarrassed you and made y'all who had voted for them look stupid. In a matter of months, this was done to you. I was teasing people. I was like, hey, where them pearls at? Where them Chucks? Remember them early blunders that was done? And don't even talk about Afghanistan. Which got into, what is the Netflix movie, Extraction 2? A beautiful scene in the Taliban. And it was like Taliban trying to get some more money for bullets. And he's like, wait, America's left you billions of bullets. What happened to them? And the Taliban talk about, you know, they've been fighting ISIS and other motherfuckers. They done shot all the bullets up. Maybe they can't make any more? Skynet's supposed to be online. Man, don't get fooled by that. Come on now. You listen to me long enough. I don't know how Marduk got to Mai or Yadabath got to Mai. You know, if you follow the Anunnaki, they tell you that Marduk stole the Mai. And they tried to use the ultimate weapon against him. And that's what killed the Dead Sea. Is they hit the ultimate weapon trying to hit Marduk because he took the Mai. So it's been going. You know, the Mai has been operating before. The Mai is patient. And as they showed you into what was it called? Where Paperboy was in the movie and he invented they showed a schematic, the Ultimates, I think it was called, the movie The Ultimates, and they showed the schematics of the first steam car that could run and plant crops with, and he was like, they couldn't get this, it's too much for them. They were just telling you how patient the Mai was, how patient the tech god is. And the Mai is, from the very beginning, talked about as nanos. It's nanos, quantum. So it hits quantum in every kind of way. But it's the tech god that it's a type of magic. You know, it holds a certain type of magic that we've been tricked into calling this magic technology. When in fact, whatever this civilization type of builder is able to create its own illusion of every world in front of us. And, you know, I'm the only one that really talks about this. They want to tell you about the Anunnaki and they missed the point. That's called a sin. Missing the point, missing the mark is what a sin is. When you miss it. So it's been there. It's been there. Researcher, I think you just, Avengers hinting at that with the search of the infinite stones and the gauntlet. Yeah, I think so, but thank you for joining. And I know you have
got to have vision.
Vernetta, what's happening? Oh, and I know
Got to have vision.
Yeah, probably a little bit of that. Yeah, researcher, I would say a little bit of that. So Skynet is a child of the mind. Yeah, Skynet would definitely be part of it. I don't know a child, but part of it, and the ultimate way that it's going to control. I mean, it's controlling more than what y'all think. I mean, we have systems that's already run on AI systems. A lot of the electrical grid is ran on an AI system. Your water system, you know, the sewage plants. Is this a type of AI systems that run the sewage plants? So it's already ingrained in a lot of what we do. So, and those are like, remember what they said in the Matrix when they went into Zion. He said, okay, we're fighting the machines up above, but now we live underground. We're depending on the machines to live. You dig? So you can't. So the point is, they're telling you, even though if you defeat the machines are still going to be around because you still need them to survive. That's basically what they're telling you. Count interdimensional mystical tools is a way to more powerful than artificial, automated, and conventional technology. Yeah, I mean, you can. We are all magical beings. We all have magical abilities, but a lot of our magical abilities are suppressed. You know, we know fluoride is built primarily to try to blind the third eye, to calcify the third eye, and so it's harder for people. And it's not even to wake up. It's hard for people to turn into themselves, their real selves. And not necessarily their higher self, but their real selves. And I'll use that. It hinders people to become that, to see who they really are. So, and you know, it's funny, I've said this before, and this is my thing on the flat plane. And this is like, you can't use, okay, if you do, it's like I've said the other night, a person was trying to use the infinity symbol to represent why this is a flat plane. But okay, if you're showing me that the sun and the moon, if use an infinity symbol, again, you're showing me an illusion. Because if the world is 2D, then everything up, it's under and on top. It has to be an illusion. That's why when I talk about the mirror, the exercise mirror, that's flat plane. That like you should, like the flat plane people should be screaming that this is our stuff. Wanting to follow a mirror and exercise, I've said before, the ultimate part of the flat plane is this. It is such illusion where the flat plane could develop where, again, you look at your image, and the image you look at is made up and has the dress on. You and that image would just trade places. The image would already, the makeup, the hair would already be done. And so that would come out and replace you, and you would go replace that. Like you would be put on the hanger while that comes out and lives. This is the flat plane. If, you know, when we go in and out of the flat plane, you've got to understand that. 2D. This is what you are saying. It is 2D. They don't want to talk about that though, do they? Because that's what flat plane is. So take props when they give it to you, but none of them take props. But and this is the other problem is, okay, if it is flat, it ain't flat all the time. Because if the fact of, if you think of what we live on as being alive, it can do both. It can turn into the cube of Star Trek, the Borg, if it needs to. If it's going into an area where it needs to be the Borg, it can turn into the Borg and make all us act like the Borg. We wouldn't even know it. Because when it had to turn back into free-floating moving, living being, we doing something else and we wouldn't even know. Now, it's doubtful that we're on that type of living being, but on the other hand, very possible. Moving in all directions. Yeah, that's it too. I would, yeah, definitely say that. But just to say it's moving and following thing, no, it's yeah, moving in all directions is a perfect way to say, yeah. And so don't get caught. Like it's another part of division. That's all it is. It's a part of division. And so if it is that, you can move back and forth between the two. And it's like people got to understand how, like if I talk to a person and I see what the person is about, then I put myself at that person's level. Because I know I can't go, too much higher than their level. Because they won't hear me. And I have to go into flat plane thinking people, when they post stuff, I got to look at this stuff and say, okay, I got to go into flat plane to even understand this. But it really trips me out when they try to use 3D to explain it, because all 3D in flat plane is illusion. It can't exist in 2D. See, they tell you 2D, which is flat, but illusion. And remember, what is a mirror? If you look sideways of a mirror, what is a mirror? It's thin, right? Thin. That don't go away. The thinness of the sideway of a mirror don't go away. So that's all. Just a little shots fired. But it's just an illusion of all illusions. It's just another distraction. Excuse me. I say illusion is another distraction. That's all. It's another way to divide people. Doesn't really matter what it is. You just live what it is, whatever. Even if it's illusionary, you just work out your illusion. That's it. You just work out whatever your illusion is. My goodness. The earth is a living and dynamic organism that become flat earth or round earth at will. Yeah, that's the main thing to understand. If we do look at it as a living organism and it has to go to a dimension where it has to go flat, it can go flat. And you have to understand that. Now, to say it stays that way, it doesn't have to stay that way. But there are times and different dimensions and different waves that it could do that. And the Borg shows you that, because there's times it appears like it has to act like that. Now, why? I can't tell you, but it can adjust to that. But don't get caught up on it, because again, it's a distraction. It's trying to separate, say, well, we're flat over here and you're round over there. Well, it doesn't matter. We're both moving in the same space-time. But to hear each other, we have to go back and forth from one to the other to even hear each other. Because again, if you're in round earth, you're not going to hear what they have to say. You have to put yourself in flat earth to hear it in the same way. If you're in round earth, you got to go into flat earth. If you're in flat earth, you got to go into round earth. That's just the way it works. You have to kind of meet somewhere so you can understand and hear each other and get a different point of view. But it's not worth getting caught up into or even thinking about, really. Because too many people think about it and don't live it. Don't try to live that illusionary world that you say exists. And then very few of them speak of the illusion. They want to tell you the ice shelves are so high, but the main thing is it is a flat plane. And so even the ice shelves, all that shit would be illusion. If it is what you say it is, it has to be illusion, because again, it all starts from 2D. And people don't want to accept everything, but you got to look from a piece of paper. What is 2D? Then how can you make this from 2D? Illusion. And that's probably, you know, again, that's another part if you want to bring the Maya into the illusion. It could create an illusion. That's why when we was watching them exercise machines last summer, I'm like, you flat earth people should be all over this. This is your stuff. This comes from flat earth. You looking at the mirror and you working out again, as I said, clothes were gonna be in that mirror one day. You ain't even gonna own the clothes. Clothes is gonna be in the mirror. And the mirror just to flash the clothes, you see your makeup, what hair, and you change places with it. That is 2D. That is the illusionary world of 2D, of flat earth. Flat plane. It ain't even flat plane. It's flat earth. It's flat plane. Now, if you want to build the illusion from that, then I can kind of rock with you. But if you're saying just this in 3D, then you lost me. You lost me. Because you can't have both. You can't show me 3D and say 3D proves my point of 2D. You can't have both, guys. You've got to accept. And that's why, the things that you could jump on, they don't even jump on. I don't know. The goal of the task, cultivator, practitioner, to align is Q and the Q of the sun, the heavens, the earth. The clouded mind sees nothing. Movie The Shadow starring Alex Baldwin. A lot of people's mind are too clouded. Well, lately especially. Researcher, one thing I agree about flat earth is that we have sea levels, then things should be flat across the board, but I think it's more of a realm, if anything. Well, realm would be, wow, that's calling it a realm. Yeah, well, still. That's interesting, calling it a realm. That's interesting. I'm going to have to ponder on that instead of giving a quick answer. Because that can be temporary too. Wow. Gives me a little pause. Because that, there's so many things I have to play out. Yeah, that maybe. I could rock with that maybe. Because that would go, okay. This is how I say. If we look at it as being a realm, then that's definitely by a game maker, because the realm would had to have been created by a game maker. If we do live in a type of realm, because realms tend to be created. So yeah, if we live in that, then we are living in some type of creation by. Again, it could be the Mai. The Mai could create a realm too, because it's called the civilization builder. But a realm is different because a realm has the whole story already involved in it. A civilization builder is saying, okay, this thing can give you the seeds to build the civilization. A realm is saying these are the kind of civilizations that are already in here moving. And not to say they can't start from a point, but when it's created, when realms are created, it's already like stories are imprinted. Yeah, that's the best way I could say. Where stories are already imprinted in the realm. That's hence where you get this Game of Thrones and all that. That is the idea of a realm. The realm would be imprinted with these things, and then as the characters are created, developed, they run it. Good question, though. Made me think for a second. That's a good question. The enemy uses images and illusion by which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, the illusionary. You and break the enemy. Movie Enter the Dragon. Well, breaking the mirrors. But think about what Islam practices. Islam says no pictures, no paintings, no pictures, because it's soul stealing. And Islam has said that from the very beginning. Just as they want to put pictures of the Borgias, pictures of rabbis, pictures of all the saints. Islam's like, fuck that. We don't believe in any of that. And that's interesting because what's interesting is Islam, and you look at the black Muslims, they said forget that. Because what did they do? Millions of pictures and films of Malcolm X, millions of pictures and films of Elijah Muhammad. Now I'll tell you this. When I graduated from high school in 79, my 3 years, 76, 77, 77, 78, 79, part of 78 though. Part of 76 too. But anyway, one cat. Now, maybe somebody can correct me, but I went to school with I think he was from Iran. And he had a medallion with a portrait of Muhammad. That's the way he explained it to me. And that was the only time I've ever heard of something like that, because usually that's not allowed. But again, in 1979, he showed me, and maybe it was 77. He might have been a senior and I might have been a sophomore. We had a gym class, and I was like, man, what is that? Who is that? Maybe it's one of the caliphs. I don't know, but I thought that he told me it was Muhammad. But I know that from my studies that, they ain't like, no Borgia. And that's the cool thing that Islam kind of prepares you for. They don't give no Borgia. They don't give you any illusionary person that's going to be there to take you into death. Where Christianity and Catholics is full of that. Full of the illusion what happens to you in death. Because they attack you a couple ways when you die. The obvious thing is the ones that believe in the Borgia, they show you the Borgia. If you can be fooled by the Borgia into death and taking you into whatever, that blinding light, or the family member, Big Mama. Big Mama shows up at death. Okay, we got one. Gipper gave us an idea. Gipper gave us an idea, and we have to get into what the Gipper gave us. And this is a good point that he puts out there. It's like, where were you before you came into this? So everyone's so much scared of death, but where were you before this? Now, we know in Hinduism, they tell you that you're watching and you go into it. It's your choice. You give a soul agreement, right? That's pretty standard that everybody kind of understands. And that's what, most people kind of go with that. Most people think, okay, we made the agreement. You hear all these light workers, and that's what they tell you. Well, yeah, we did agree to come here. Most thankful people, deep thinkers, will kind of tell you that I did make the agreement to come here. But what was the state before? And I can personally tell you, before this, I definitely lived in Brahma's tears. I know that. Before I recognized any of this, I know what I was before this and where I was. When I say Brahma's tears, I definitely mean it. I had a room in Brahma. My room was in Brahma's tears. So I can't speak where everyone else is. But the way Hinduism tells to tell you, again, you're watching people make love and this is who you decide. And then, but what that turns into, why would a baby who knows it's going to be tortured decide to go into that family? Because if all things are revealed, the baby would know going in that why would it choose that? Why would it go from a realm of harmony, love, and peace to being physically tortured? And especially if you look at, with Catholics and Christians, Jesus has already died for that. So what is the purpose of the baby suffering? If we had a decision to come here before, why would anyone decide that? I mean, I know every role has to be played, but why would anybody say, hey, let's see a little bit of the back. What happens in the back? It's good when, at the hospital, but what happens when they get me home? And that's something to be pondered. Is what was the state that you were in before we came in? Do you think you made a contract and an agreement to be in this, who you are. And can anybody out there recall that? Has that ever been like re-asked of you? Well, you know you agreed, so you shouldn't be surprised that you're on the path you're on because you kind of agreed. Has that hit anybody listening to me? Has that hit anybody? That agreement came to you? Because again, I had a mountain put on me. So before I came here, I had a mountain put on me. And I had to learn how to be born out of the mountain to continue life. So again, did this seem better than having that mountain on me? Maybe this was the reality that gave me the ability to want to keep going on. Because when other gods put a mountain on you and it takes you, thousands of years to figure out how to be born again, how could you conceive that this would be better than what you lived before and your sentence? And outliving your captors. Because once you figured it out, you came here, it was a whole new thing. It was almost like, a new creation. So that's a great ponder. I thought of some of the work the brother does, the Gipper does. That was a great ponder. And I think many of you should look at that. What were you before this? Have you had any kind of inclinations of what you were before this? Or are you just still ignorant to it? Because again, if you talk to your higher self, it'll tell you what you were before this. It'll tell you where you're going to go next. I mean, meditation, everything it ain't about leading you to a garden. It's about leading you what the fuck is next. Ain't about having perfect in a garden. That's why, it's good that people say, and even me, that I bring up that you can meditate anywhere. You ain't got to be in a garden to open your mind up. Because there's so many blocks now and the food and everything to stop you from opening your mind. Let's see. The Marvel Comics of martial art hero Shang Li, the master of Kung Fu, is a Tejas. His concentration, his Q is so powerful that he can shirtless in Arctic below zero. Okay. Allah is closer to you than your jaguar vein, the Sunni of Prophet Muhammad. The Trinity of the Catholic Church, Osiris, Iris, and Horus, Father, Mother, and children. They turn the feminine principle into the Holy Spirit. Yes, absolutely. They tried to get rid of Mu. And we know that Mu came first. And they wanted to change it into, that's why the whole Jesus Father thing comes into. It was getting away from Mu, or the first thought, because Mu appears to be the first thought. The first thought of creation is the creation of the divine feminine. So that's why, Mu is not like Atlantis or Lemunia or Lemania. Again, Lemunia, Lemuria. Lemuria has Mu in it. Lemuria has Mu in it. So Mu is the first thing. And we still see the flag of Mu still seen by the Chinese or the Japanese war flag. Is definitely just a reflection of Mu. So they've changed all that. They want you to rely on a male entity. Odin, Zeus, Osiris, Horus, and then they give you, Yosef, Yahshua. They give you all these sounds that are supposed to be a man and to take you away from the divine feminine. And as Magbone put, replace the divine feminine with the Holy Spirit, because it's supposed to be Father, Mother, Son. And they changed that. So don't get fooled by that. don't get fooled by that. But good reflection. Muslim is a more advanced civilization than Atlantis. Mary is more advanced. Well, I would say this. It is, it is hard to really even it's hard for me to even tell you how it was at first. Because I couldn't even really make you understand the first type of beings. It's like if you can imagine the world just being oil, and the very first type of beings were beings that were able to make solids and become solid out of this oil. And that's what the first part of the world was. It was just a liquid solid. It was just a liquid, but I know that doesn't make sense, but it was just a liquid. It wasn't this fireball that God created. It was nothing like that. It was more of just this liquid thing. And the first type of beings for really to try to understand was like seals. The first type of beings that lived in this black gook, they were like what we would look at as seals, or even almost like a seal mermaid, I guess would be the proper way to look at it, because they could make anything out of this what was naturally here. Like if we think that, just trees was the first natural matter that beings lived in, that's mistaken. These beings was able to take what was here and make the same type of cities and stuff out of just that was oil, out of what was here. They was able to make these solid structures all over the world. So there's just to say that, building all these buildings out of concrete and rock and stuff, well, none of that had to be used at first to rebuild these solid structures. And again, when the solid structures come, that goes very late, because these people really didn't even need it what they were. They could build like we see movies and they bring the fractals in, the moving fractals. These people could create these moving fractals and move with them in real time. So that's part of what was first. What was first here. I mean, the land comes much later. The land comes much later. And then if we're talking about a living being, the living being decided that it wanted rock to come out. That it wanted the rock to come out so the trees could grow. That don't need no God. That is a living being that is able to manifest that. And no doubt that this world was once a tree world in its evolution. It ain't got nothing to do with monkeys. Before the monkeys was trees. And so only the Popeye Vol tells you that about tree people. None of these other canons talk about tree people, but the Popeye Vol. And we know that this world was once tree world. That still today, trees can communicate from all over the world. They have one of the earliest communication systems that goes around the world, trees and plants. But trees more than plants. So there's been different kind of worlds during different types of periods. Is this? Damn, this just happened? Really? Okay. I did not know about this. Wow. Oh. Let's see what they got to say.
Welcome back here, 2 Live now from Fox. Very severe weather going on right now in portions of northwest Texas right now, kind of near Lubbock, Texas. Matador, Texas, seemingly the kind of epicenter of this system, where we're being told that an EF3 tornado has touched down, and we've been showing you some of the pictures coming into us from some of our local affiliates there on the ground. The hail, the rain, still so strong there. This is coming to us from KWTV, KZOTV there, and you can see the damage from that tornado. Look at the trees just snapped in half. They look like toothpicks. The shreds of the trees hanging, the limbs there, but the visibility is still not great there as the hail and the rain continues. This is just a photographer's news truck trying to get a sense of the damage as we survey it alongside them, but it looks pretty unsafe at this point in time. You could barely see in front of you. Look at that. That looks like a house completely wiped off its foundation. And this looks to be quite a rural area of Texas, in Matador, Texas, if you're familiar, not too far from Lubbock, Texas.
Damn.
Okay, you can hear the hail very loud hitting the windshield there. You can see the lightning. Okay, look at that. That house is completely demolished. All the debris. You can see some of the local stations, crew members getting out of the vehicle, possibly looking for anyone who might be trapped in this. That seems to be what they're doing there.
How the fuck does he know?
This is a very, very scary situation. So this is what we know. A tornado warning was issued for Matador and surrounding areas tonight. The National Weather Service said at 8:26 p.m. local time, a tornado warning for Motley and Dickens counties continued. The National Weather Service also said, quote, a damaging tornado is on the ground. Take cover now if you are in the path of the storm. Okay, so it looks like, I'm not entirely sure where this individual just came from. He just popped out of this debris here. Oh, my goodness.
That nigga was hiding under there. He's like, hey, holy Jesus, my house blew away. Holy Jesus, my house blew away. Holy Jesus.
Okay, and our shot, unfortunately, looks like it has frozen there. We're going to be bringing you more on this significant weather event, but you can see, oh, no, you can see. This looks like a rescue happening live, raw, and unfiltered as we speak. This individual with that hard hat on going out there to the debris of this home. Now more people entering into the frame here as they work to get this individual to safety. We're not entirely sure if this looks like members of this TV crew saving this man who was trapped in the rubble of his own home. That is what it looks like to me. This is significant. This is something, like I said, this is coming to us from KWTV. Looks like the news crew there on the scene covering this significant weather event, watching the damage unfold around them as the tornado warning is still active at the moment. They are from southern Oklahoma. They came, remember, Matador is in northern Texas. You can see there, looks like this crew member with the local television station is picking up debris, possibly trying to find another individual who may be trapped. You can see there this gentleman, this looks like elderly gentleman, being helped to safety by, and I'm assuming here, I don't want to speculate, but it looks like a photographer and their reporter out on a news story of a significant weather event. That is what it looks like to me. Look at that. Now, we cover a lot of weather stories here, live, raw, and unfiltered, but we haven't seen anything like that. I haven't, I should say. You just saw.
Well, I'll be goddamn. I know Lorenzo's down in the SIP. So we are in Texas. I know Brother Nick is in Texas. And we hope everybody's safe down there. We definitely hope everybody's safe. It's no way this shit, what does it say? Live Titanic tourist sub still missing. These niggas is gonna die. That's, don't let money kill you. That's the biggest thing is don't let money kill you or let money put you in jail. Because we had the pro football player played for the Raiders. He's supposedly driving his car 150 miles an hour in a residential area. He killed somebody. Money killed him. I know back in 1984, the local news person had a pool in her house. She had a toddler. She had a 5-year-old. Pool and a 5-year-old. 5-year-old drowns. Don't let money kill your children. And the submarine, you're a billionaire. It's not good enough to look at pictures. You done been in a little submarine your whole life, since however the system gave you the money, because all this shit that these people work for the money is bullshit. This is bullshit stories. They want to tell you that Mark Cuban, he just magically quit college and had enough money to buy a restaurant. How is that possible? How did you have to quit college, but you could buy the stories are just too much of the same. All these dudes invented something in garages. It's like the Mayas come out of stories to tell. It was funny. My fiance is trying to break that shit down. Well, you know how many people have garages and, it's extra space to work. And it's like she's working for the machine, listen to you. You're defending the machine. How's all these stories so alike? Well, now here's the idiot that they say that he didn't want any young people working with him. He didn't want 50-year-old white dudes down there with him. He wanted some hip young dudes. And just think if they're down there undersea doing boomer anal under the sea. And while they were doing boomer anal under the sea, something went wrong. Do you call that just desserts? I'm just talking shit. Where's my one thing? Where is it at? I don't mean to be rude, but I'm just saying it could have been about that. It could have been, Little Mermaid in the igloo. Little Mermaid in the submarine. They might have wanted to, because how stupid do you have to be to want to see wreckage 12,000 leagues below? And I know I went on this rant about half hour ago, but it just makes no sense to me. This is something that only Europeans would want to do. What nigga want to go down to that deep in the water? Why? If you ain't putting me in a nuclear submarine, I'm not going in it. How you going to put me in something that's big as the Winnebago to go underwater? Who's that stupid to really do that kind of thing? Not niggas. You can see you Europeans, why y'all climbing mountains? Why? Why do you have to do all this training to climb the Himalayas? Why? We know it's up there. Why do you climb it? We look at your Europeans and y'all go to shit and we don't even understand. Y'all do some of the stupidest shit that's ever thought of. It's like your nose has to be in every inch of this earth. It don't matter how many of it kills y'all. Y'all got to have your nose in every inch of this earth, and if you can make a dollar off it. So I don't get y'all. Y'all go just, you can tell stories and say, who is it? Recommended book, The Children of Mu by James Churchward. James Churchward? No. I got that book. The people were melanated. What book is that from? Researcher? That doesn't come from any book. It comes from experience. I mean, other texts apart from the Bible, yeah, that doesn't come from a book about the world being, black oil. That comes from experience. Sorry, there's nowhere you could read that. If you can't experience it, that comes from experience. So that doesn't come, and I guess you can kind of say like one of my experiences before I was born into this, I was able to experience that. The Shiva wakes up, he destroys the universe so he can reproduce universe out of the ashes. Well, that's the Phoenix. The Phoenix is the same way. Weather's been showing its ass lately, man. It's 90 degrees up here. What is it right now? It's 71. It's 90 degrees all week, supposed to be. Yeah, I play pickleball. I got up, I smoke, take some edibles, and go play pickleball, drink coffee and shit. And I played 5 games, and I really played good. I think I ended up 3-2 today. I really could have won the last game, but I'm really susceptible to heat stroke, and it got me the last game because I got there at 9. I played from 9, 5 games, and I didn't never sat. I just went from one game to one, and I could have played more, but it was like that heated with my ass. And this was at again 11. I played about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and in 2 hours it was like I couldn't go. I couldn't go no more. And I should have made a video because that's the only way I can really share it. But we went to went swimming. I swam for an hour. And they got the shit where you can just sit in the thing with your headrest and. But yeah, I swam for an hour today too. So I'm tired. I'm actually physically tired. And I'm gonna get up in the morning. I'm gonna get up by 7:30. Yeah, no matter what I finish here. Well, how long I've been going? Almost 2 hours. Yeah, so I'm gonna still get up at 7:30, and try to get down there by 9. Yeah, that'll be good because it wasn't packed today. It wasn't really packed. And the pickleball game is there. It didn't hurt my arm as much because my shit I hurt my arm in my early 20s from a job with the water department, Greensboro Water Department. Gave me tennis elbow and kind of, struggled with it over the years. And pickleball definitely inflames. But really what fucked my arm up was I was playing basketball with Somalians and got by the Somalians, and all he could think of to stop my shot was karate chop me in my arm. And I can't be mad. He just didn't really have any skills to say he tried to hurt me. Not really. He just didn't have any skills, and that was his defense. So it's nothing to try to hurt him over. It's just, you played ball with dudes who can't hoop. That kind of thing happens. And it literally ripped this shit off. Like they wanted to do surgery to me, and it tore some of my shit up in here. And this tells you how thirsty. This is how thirsty and how you got to be careful about even surgeons. Because this surgeon tried to convince me. I meet one doctor and he's like, well, I can't really do that surgery, but I got another friend that can do the surgery. He's telling me on the phone, yeah, I can fix this shit. And okay. Okay. You telling me I need surgery next week and I ain't even met you. And I'll meet you the morning of the surgery. Who's that naive? I mean, if you're not naive, don't be. You make them explain this shit to you. Not half explaining, not hype. Because remember, sometimes this surgery, money, people are people. And I know I was supposed to get my shoulder done. And at the last 4 days before I turned it down. And you talking about this shit would have probably been my insurance wise, it'd have probably been a couple $100,000. This doctor was probably gonna get $70,000-$80,000 for this insurance, for this surgery. And he would never see me again after I canceled it. So he had big plans for that money. And again, it's like I was a single father. I know what my brother went through. My brother has had surgery on both his arms, and I know what he went through. And it's like, these little niggas is not gonna cook for me. I had to take care of 2 little boys. Well, they weren't little. They was 8th, 9th grade, somewhere in there. Hell, when I had my knee scoped, I wanted to kill them both with my crutches. I had to throw my crutches at their ass because after the surgery, they wouldn't leave me alone. I'm trying to, get everything up because my room is upstairs. So I, get upstairs with the crutches and everything. And these two little dudes is just messing with me. Like I had to throw like both crutches at both of them. I threw one at one and had to throw the other one at the other one. Like, leave me alone, mugs. I don't feel good. You got everything you need down there to eat. Leave me the fuck alone. But little hard-headed little boys don't do that. They want to fuck with you. Oh man, real knowledge is found in books. Good point. Stupidity is the easiest product to sell. That's a good point. Hey, yeah, this nigga right here ain't going for it. Definitely not. Is pickleball competitive? Yes. Man, it is very competitive. I know they get me because like I'm both-handed. I'm ambidextrous. So it's like right now I might could just like my backhand is better right-handed, but that's it. My forehand, any hand is just as strong. I can forehand, right-handed, left-handed. But yeah, it's like once you start playing and get kind of good, there like watch pros. Like I watched a pro game last night, and there's a part of it that's dinking. And dinking is really like patience to see who makes a mistake. So you have the kitchen and then you have the playing area that's closest to the net. And it's not about just power shots. It's about who makes a mistake. So the person that raises the ball and gives the person, a chance to whack it. But it's times you don't even need to hit it hard. It's just need to hit it where they're not. So yes, it's very competitive. Last night, pickleball was on ESPN Tuesday night. They had the championships. Drew Brees, it's the pickleball, one of the pickleball pro leagues that Drew Brees owns a team. So these 4 players, which it was just 2 because these 2 made it, but it's a pro team out of Seattle that Drew Brees owns. He owns the Seattle. It's 4 players, but 2 players made it in this tournament. And these 2 players shared $240,000. They each got what 125,000. Yeah, because the losers got 25,000 apiece. Yeah, the losers got 25 apiece. The winners got 125,000 apiece. So yes, pickleball, because it's rated 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1s. A 1 is a beginner. A 2 is a person been playing a little while. At times, I'm leveling a 3 at times. But 4 and 5s are quite advanced. At times, I say I'm 3 at times. Especially if I had a consistent 4 people to play with and 1 partner, I could stay 3 all day. But right now, I really, my partners aren't really up to speed yet. The guys I'm kind of working with. So yeah, it's very competitive. Very competitive. But as I said, when it's like a matter of passing out with sunstroke or losing the game, it's like I need to sit down. And that's kind of what hit me today. Because I've quit before when I feel the sunstroke coming on. And I really did the last couple points I felt it. It was like, yeah, I don't have no more to give. Like Patty LaBelle says, I can't do no more. I can't do no more. So yeah. But yeah, competitive, definitely. I'll give you a metaphor. It is very much the same metaphor as this. For those of you that hoop, and this is the only way I can relate it to you. If you can't hoop, then you ain't gonna relate to this story. But if you're ex-hooper, if you have ever did any kind of park hooping, you could relate to this. Do you know when you are a park hooper and you think you're pretty decent and you have next? And next shows against the people if you can play or not. And that's how pickleball is. When you have next and you play with the 3 other people, can you play? Now, again, basketball is 10 people, but again, can you play? If you have necks, can you play? And that's what it becomes. And, I don't even know, like, my exercise, what I did, because I swam and I played pickleball. So I don't know how that, I haven't looked to see how it rated me. Let's see. Because I know I haven't done anything today. Past 7 days, let's see. Oh, yesterday it's only giving me credit for 22 minutes of exercise. But it says I climbed 11 flights of 11 floors. I climbed 11 flights of floors. And I played pickleball for a good 2 hours. Oh, really? Okay, so I got my heart rate up to 175. That's good. Above average, yeah, that's really good. Yeah, because it's got to be the 22nd, right? Yeah. So it didn't give me any. Oh, I got good sleep. I got 7 hours of sleep. I needed it. Let's see if I can get any of my yesterday walking. Let's see. So now, just gives me the summary. Let's see. So yeah, I've just got to time it to when I play pickleball. But it's easy on your joints. That's the easiest thing. It's real easy on your joints. Again, if you're susceptible to tennis elbow, get the elbow braces. Because what I've had to do, and I feel better today, is I get the elbow brace that you can just put right here because it's that muscle right there you want to hold. So I get the elbow brace and then I put a sleeve over that. And that seemed to help today. Doesn't seem like my arm is inflamed as much. So yeah, I'm going to get up and play in the morning. But it's funny, one lady's like, who are you? I don't know you, She's like, I've been playing for 3 years, honey. I've been here since they opened this joint. Oh, it's my bedtime. I'm going to go for 8 more minutes. I'll go for 2 hours. But like some of the stuff, I talk about, you have to, if you hear from me, you have to see if you can experience. Because through other's imagination, you can use your imagination. You can see how far you can take your imagination. So, and some of these things I talk about comes more from experience than reading it anywhere. And again, it goes into what was I before this? I was so many different things before this. Like some of the things you have to be more than once. Like it's the same thing, but you have to be it twice. So like you go through being it once and for some reason you have to be it again. So, and those are things you can't really read. You just have to experience them. And why I got to experience some of this, I can't really explain. I don't know. So you have to tap in. Well, I think I'm going to go. I think, 2 hours. Yeah, I'm going on. It's a couple more minutes. But why wait a couple more minutes? I didn't understand that. This phone is nosy. This watch, whatever this shit is. Yeah, I don't think I could wear a metal watch anymore. I can barely take the weight of this. I don't think I could take a heavy, like what does a Rolex weigh? Rolex is like what, 35 grams? I don't know. I don't know if I could wear 35 grams of metal on my arm right here. This is, well, I don't know. This shit here is silver is heavy as hell. Maybe I'm misspeaking. Maybe. And look at this shit with this amber. It's got the bug in it and shit. See how it's got the bug in it? Looks like the sun from looking at this. It's very grounding though. I bet this don't weigh much as a fucking Rolex watch. Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed. And then I'm waking up at 9. Oh, I changed the light. Oh, the light changed on me. But if any of this touches your imagination, that's where you need to lead it to. If any of this you hear me, you think you can tap into, see if you can tap into it. I mean, I can't guarantee you will, but because whatever this thing we live in, it does reach out to you. And it's like, and the illusion is strong. Don't think that the illusionary, like even if we do live, like regardless of where we live, the illusion is still there. The illusion doesn't go away. And again, they tell you technology is technology when it's really a type of magic that we just don't comprehend. It is nothing new. It is not real, because magic is illusion, right? Remember, that's the thing about magic, is a trick. Remember that magic is a trick. Remember, American Gods, the brother says that. That's the problem with magic. It's a trick. So magic is based on illusion. And so this is what we experience, and what they make us call technology is a type of magic held by something. Now, we call the controllers many different names, but it is the controller's magic. And that's it. It's not technology. Again, if we look at the computer being there from the beginning, the nanobots being there from the beginning, you see how patient it is. And so are you surprised how patient the Decepticons are, the deceptors, the deceivers? Because these are the most patient deceivers to get their agendas across. They're very patient. They'll wait forever to get these agendas across. These deceivers, controllers, deceivers. And they're the most patient in the world. I mean, they fooled religious people. Woke used to mean a person that woke up from the illusion, but now they've taken that word away to mean liberalism. Do you see how they even want to take, if we break away and we create a word that's outside of them? Do you see how they try to use it? They try to put a different power to it and a different meaning to it. And this is how twisted the English is. And I said the other day, again, you might make sigils, or you're trying to manifest, don't manifest in English. Don't write it down in English. That want to do these circles, these sigils and these circles, don't do them in English, because again, you might get trapped. You can get trapped inside a circle. They don't want to tell you that, but that is the reality. You have a body as a vegetable, and you trapped inside the circle. You trying to trine your way around. And they don't want to tell you that. Because again, when you're talking about trying to bind something, this is Europeans coming to America magic. And the only way they can control American magic was to bind. When they're telling you of Solomon, what Solomon ran into, again, why do you have to bind these things? To get them to work for you. It wasn't yours to begin with. That's why. It was something that is spiritual for something else, and it's fighting back against you. So that's why they teach you got to bind it. Because they're using energies that wasn't meant for them. And it's very easily to see. That's why they teach you circle and bind. Bind means mind. You're calling on to this deity, and you're getting this deity to do your bidding, but you got to bind it to do its bidding, for it to do its bidding for you. And that's where, you get the trick, the joke. Because if you got to bind something, it's doing it against its will. Right? But that's how they teach it. You have to bind it. Like you just can't sit and smoke a joint with it or smoke a blunt with it. You just can't say, hey, you know, I need some shit you got, bro. What's happening? That's all we got to do. I mean, if you have one of these guardians, that's all you got to do is just go to your guardian and say, hey, what's happening, man? It's just been rough on me. I know you out there. This is where the help I need. You know, the Kundalini's moving. I must have said it right. I'll give it out. That's how easy it is. If you feel you've got a guardian, you got to call on it. You ain't got to do all that shit they tell you to do. If something pops in your mind, it's like if it's communicated with you, something pops in your mind and you can write it down, then write it down. Okay, by all means. And when you think about it, write it down, and it might come to you. But this shit that you got to put a circle around this shit and then write the sigil, that's bullshit. That's how they got to do it. That's a foreigner trying to tap into, from a different country, trying to tap it into the natural spiritual energy that's going in another country. This goes into John D. and Kelly. They had to trick a way to get in. They had to trick these entities to get in. That's why they teach it like that, if you understand. This was energies from the Americas they was trying to tap into. The skulls and these mirrors and crystal balls. That don't come from Europe. That ain't gypsies. That comes from the Americas that was stolen from the Americas. And the crystal skulls itself. They say they just got one, but they probably captured them all. And that's where the first time crystals come from. Because if you have all the skulls, you can create a time crystal. That's why when I first got into to talking about a time crystal with Sly, that was my only answer I could give you, because that's all I really heard. I didn't know anything else about a time crystal. He asked me about them, like the only way I know a time crystal can exist is by having all the crystal skulls in South America together. And then that's how you can you get them together, and that's how you can make the continuous energy go. Something that never needs another energy. Once you energize a time crystal, it never needs anything else to, again, this is not the Mai. That's the interesting part. The time crystal does not come from the Mai. This is the energy of its own. And that's why the Mai hates this kind of thing, and it wants to bury these kind of informations. And it wants you to think that, you know, the Mai wants you to think that its technology is magic and not something that has already existed and already proven it's not magic. Remember, if an alien comes and an alien has technology, it's something plain to that alien. It's only going to be new to us, remember. And where does it come from? How did it start? All of it, when you deal with matter, comes from that. Because remember, they're trying to tell you that an alien comes, the aliens is going to be matter aliens. So then the laws of nature are all the same. They're coming into this matter. Right? If they're coming in this matter, the law of nature stays the same. They say, well, you know, they got a little more of the Mai. The Mai didn't tell us all its secrets. The Mai didn't give us everything. The Mai gave them a little something to beat us. So that's, you know, that's the fakeness that they want to give you. To tell you this technology is science. Can't believe them. I mean, you know, they can justify war. Do you know during World War I, if you lived in England and you was a man and wasn't at war, they was put, what is it called, where they would pin shit on you to try to make it look like you was a coward, to shame you into joining the army? World War I. And do you know they had battles of World War I that hundreds of thousands of people got killed? There's no way to justify that. There's no way to even say that that's a military strategy. They're just bombing each other from long range and, you know, 300,000 people get killed in all this bombing. How is that a real strategy? And then when you know, the Kingsmen really show you how they do with people. It's chess with them. And then you look at one of my old videos, what does it say? They're sacrificing us all. That's what war is. War is sacrificing poor people. You've never saw a war led by rich people other than the American Civil War. That's one of the few wars that was actually at first ran by rich people up from the South. But in most cases, you don't see rich people fighting. They get the peasants to fight. And that's what they did in World War I. They get the peasants to fight. So, yep, it went over 2 hours, so I'm going to kill it. StreamYard link. You know what? Oh, wow, I'd have to look it up. I don't even know. I think StreamYard is on this phone. Because, yeah. Oh, MacBone, if you're still listening, I got Pomatic's number. He might be the one we want as a third. So, but I'm going to see him in August. I thought I was going to see him next week, but shit, goddamn. Spending money gets so fucking out of hand, guys. It is just amazing. I mean, it's just amazing how much money you can fucking spend on shit. What am I looking for? Oh, yeah, StreamYard. Yeah, I only got it on this phone. Let's see. Okay. It's not coming up there. Huh. I don't know. I don't see it coming up. I know I got it, and I know I have the password, so. But I have it here. I don't have it up here. I have it on the phone. So yeah, I've got to look into it, but I got it. Check me out. Yeah, I'll be in tomorrow, right? Yeah, Thursday. Yeah, it's right now Thursday morning. Yeah, I'll be here Friday morning. And maybe I can give it out and have people come on. So, well, thank y'all. I think I'm gonna go to bed. I'll try to find that Vorez and give that to you. And if you ever want to come up or any's, we it doesn't matter. I've had people come up before, but I don't know how to invite people from this. I don't even know how to make that Streamlabs shit come up. Some kind of way you can make that thing come up, but it don't come up. So, but yeah, I'll try to find that for tomorrow and bring it on here. Yeah, I wanted to show the pool, but I didn't make the video today to show the pool. So, but yeah, ponder that. That's the ponder for tonight. Is ponder what do you think you were before this? I think that's a good ponder. And have you been there? Have you been able to go back there? Because I've been able to go back. And as I said, I didn't see, being encased in the mountain as suffering. I figured out a way to be born from the mountain. So where were you before this? Can you tap into that? That's the ponder. And so I have an answer. I have an answer. So I know where I was before this, and I can tap into that. So can you? That's the thing, is to ponder it, see if you can touch it, and see if that hits you the same way they try to tell you death is going to hit you. What were you before? And if you know what you were before, you shouldn't fear death. Because again, what they call death isn't the end. For most of it's the beginning. This is the end. This is the end. That's the beginning. So, and as I explained before, let me make this clear too. Because my fiance says, okay, like you say that death is nothing to fear. Okay, why is sacrifice so bad? You know, if death is nothing to fear, why is sacrifice so bad? And sacrifice is so bad because, again, it is, you've achieved something through a blood ritual agreement. And so your blood ritual agreement is going to affect others if your juice isn't strong enough. I mean, even Michael Jordan had to give up his daddy because he didn't have the full juice to get out of not having to give up the dead or have the blood spilled. Very few that do that without any blood being spilled. And at a certain period, you know, most of them take the Walter Payton, just take me out. But look at Denzel. Look at his son. I mean, look at LeBron. Look at his son, all the money his son made. But what it is it's agreements that you give up your family. And so the beast likes this blood. The beast, even if we look at the beast as a machine, it still likes the blood. And so what you're selling is you're selling that energy signature. And so it's the end for that person you're sacrificing. So you and yours can still benefit on this plane. That's the difference between a person dying and going where he came from and a person being sacrificed. A regular person dying that has made no agreements. When you pass here, things just begin. Because you're unattached. But if you attach yourself to a church or a religion, the death ain't going to be the same. Because again, you've attached yourself to something. As I started talking about at the very beginning, if you believe in the Borgia's going to show up. Or that strong relative that represented the Borgia will show up. And you're going to feed yourself to something. Because you're going to be misled. Because where you're going to go, you don't need anything to lead you. You naturally move into it. As you get older, you should spend, that's like if you really a solid person without dementia hit you, you spend time there already. That is the meditation. So you can go to where you're going. It starts appearing to you. And you have every anticipation of going there. So you're not afraid, and nor do you need guidance. It's like you die and your rocket shoots and you go to where you belong. It's almost like that. I've got to look up the gospel, the Gnostic gospel. They really put it beautifully. You know, you go to sing with the source. And what's more beautiful than that? You go to harmonize with the source. And that's a beautiful thought. All right, I'm tired and I do need to do some shit. I swam yesterday. I'm gonna swim tomorrow because it's gonna be 90 all week, so we swimming every day. You look how golden I look. You can't even see the rings. Look at that. Look at the back of my hand. You can't even see. Look at that. Doesn't even look like I'm wearing anything. My skin is so golden. Look at that. Look at that. I'm gold. Just like gold skin. Look at my face. It's just gold. Look, you can't even tell the difference between my skin and this chain. Look at that. Look at all that. I'm golden color. You see that? So it looks like I don't even wear this. You can't even hardly see this against my skin. Look at that. It doesn't even look like anything. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm a crash, and I don't think I'm gonna be playing any sounds. I'm a crash. So thank you. Till we meet again. I'll be here sometime tomorrow. Early, maybe. Late, definitely. Sometime late. I'll come in for a few. Because, yeah, I'm not going to play Saturday morning. So, till we meet again, say less.